So 11 minutes max. Should put them coming in home around 3:20. Whatever the fuck I heard, whatever they heard, scream, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because like I said, I'm open. Fuck it. Does not have told. Never been like, hey, unfounded, founded doesn't make shit to me. Unfounded to me means can't prove or disprove, but all three of us could not be crazy. That was definitely not children playing noises. That was not mechanical. That was not animal. I don't know what the fuck. So anyway. Thing is, you have, 430, 442 from 320. There's nothing there, right? And then 609, I'm coming down the driveway. You have Candace, the first calls for summer. Right? I reached up on the driveway. I put down that purse. With this phone and this phone in it. I'll leave it there. I have nothing in my hands. Sitting to the left side on a little rising bank thing, but beside of these little trailer park beach things that I love so much because they're so white trash, they're wonderful. As planners that I used. Anyway. That my petty ass really should have football kicked off the entire fucking hill before I left. I'm petty like that. Anyway, so and then I have the ones on the other side that look like teacups. Giant teacups. I should have also kicked off the hill before I left. Because I'm petty like that. Anyway. So, damn, I left my angel trumpet push Anyway, so, what you have is me then, at this time, I know summer's on entrance, something's wrong. I walk kind of straight, I look down even though I know, but because I'm still operating on theory, it's coming together like, okay, well, I heard that noise from place, but look down knowing there's no way, but I look down anyway, and then I start to my right, I'm hollering for Candace. I'm hollering up. She can't hear me, the boys can't hear me. It's a waste of my time and fucking effort. So I just carry on around the little U shape and I go to the tile. Start to step in where the little drug activity is, right? I hear her coming down, she's talking on the phone. But I didn't know that time. It was so fucking loud, the conversation, that I really thought someone was in the vehicle with her. And I'm like, who the fuck is up there? It wasn't 2 seconds ago. Right? And, so I hop back up out of there. She stops where I'm at in the road. The first interaction in words. She's like, someone's missing. I was like, I'm sorry. I heard scream. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Dawn pops up from the fucking speakerphone because I kind of look into the vehicle, all that's going on. I don't see anybody, so I'm like, what the fuck? Also, the vehicle she's driving confuses me because of the flash earlier. And that's how I eventually got my mind to solidify that the color was what it was later anyway. In combination with Dawn later on showing up in the Subaru. So, the thing is that, it's like, that is the first thing she heard from me. And I asked her, I was like, where was she? Where was Summer? You know, and it was pretty quick interaction. She carried on her way with, you know, after Dawn was like, so you're telling me? She carries on. I go back into the little drug activity area to start stepping in the creek. And I don't know what's going on with this barefoot thing, y'all. But I was not barefoot. Had on sandals. The sandals I was wearing are outside the door here. Because they're important to me. They are the last sandals I was wearing my pap in the hospital and things. I love these sandals anyway. But they're Crocs, but they're the thong types, right? And they have pink flamingos on them. And they're sitting right here outside the door. I was wearing those that day. And so, when I step into the creek, I'm feeling around my feet. And I mentioned on other videos why it is. You know, because other people are, you know, like at Creek Strat, like I've been telling them. 3 weeks ago, they're like, oh, we need dive teams for it, because they don't know their asses from home ground. We all laughed. No, that shit has been, for the past 10 years, all the water features down there being lower and lower. That wouldn't stay so fucking dry most of the time. It's ridiculous anymore, and that's the main creek, the beach creek. But anyway, somebody, now I'm not naming names, didn't even catalog the weather that week. But, and obviously didn't watch my videos or care about my statements for all these months. But that creek was not dry for a very good reason. In my early videos, and even up until recently, I've mentioned why that creek was not dry. Why I had to skip over parts. I'd have to get back out at certain points and go around and get back into the creek. There were some points that were thigh deep. And, you know, I knew in my head it had been so long since I hear a scream. And you think kids playing in the creek. You think injuries. You think whatever. And every turn I waited for it to be Summer floating or sunk to the bottom. And I was filming with my feet. In my sandals. As my other neighbor took the bank. And we discussed this as I was in the first couple of steps of the creek. She had stopped and talked to them because they heard the commotion and were out. And it's a normal time of day for them to be out in their yards anyway. And they come out into the roadway. They were talking to her. He joins me. He's like, what do you want to take? I was like, I'll get the creek since I'm wearing fucking flip-flops. Duh. He's wearing, like, boots. I see him visibly. I'm like, you take the bank. I'll take the creek. We walk side by side with space in between us. But the best place to walk, anyway, it's going to be at creek line. You want to know why? Because it's the muddiest. It has the most moisture around it. If she crossed or she came, you know, or was playing, a kid, right? If they wandered, creek would be one of the main draws. You're going to find her tracks along it. It's the most moist place. You're also going to find signs of other things if there's been. Either way, it's common fucking sense. Unless you're scared of all the bears and the Odies. And you're from fucking Utah and Arkansas. You spent your whole ass fucking life being afraid of everything but deadly shit in a glass pipe. Motherfuckers. Use your brain for all the wrong things. That's all I'm saying. And, that's the other thing that was chapped my ass. You don't live in the middle of the fucking woods. And to me, even there on Ben Hill, they ain't the middle of the woods. Neighbors too close. Everybody's too close together. Too much fucking neighbor noise. Always drove me fucking batshit. That ain't the middle of the woods. It's still too fucking close. Shut the fuck up. But, it's close enough. They're bears, they're coyotes. But if you know about coyotes, they have certain patterns and whatever. Paid one iota of attention, you'd know. Like I do, how many nights do you sit? I mean, even here. I know what time the coyote run is, even here. Now, yeah, on hungry days, they do, but regardless. You live in the middle of the fucking woods where these things exist with you. You don't just kill everything indiscriminately because it's near you. You live with it in fucking harmony. You leave it the fuck alone as long as it's leaving you the fuck alone. You learn which snakes are good, which are bad. You learn, all these things in order to coexist with. But you don't stay terrified. And to me, when you're raising 4 little ones, or any little ones, your responsibility as a parent is to teach them how to play outside around these things. And you have things like snake bite kits. You know how to take care of these things if something happens. You know how to let your children roam the hills, but also keep an ear out. And to always have, some sort of, no, not over there. Which I think, honestly, was a form of control. To keep the kids so terrified they stayed. It's just me, though. But anyway, so I and another neighbor, what you have last night is Candace and Burger King breaches. Like Michelle said, it's some way to try to discredit now this late in the game. There's something wrong with that. But I'll get to that here in a second. Like, oh, she didn't want to be seen. Oh, she didn't want to be tracked. Why didn't she have a cell phone? It wouldn't have mattered, dudes. These still don't have service. How many times did I tell the fucking world I didn't have a cell phone, and I still don't? For years I didn't. The only one with an actual cell phone service on it was Andy. Mine are used for Wi-Fi, other shit. Anyway. And I mean, I'm probably the last person on earth that's like, man, I could, other than emergency use and whatever, like, anyway. So there was no point in taking it on. I'm not going to get a signal anyway. What the fuck? I do need to call from the middle of the creek to police that were, No, I'm going to get out there. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, so there were eyes on me as there was the other, right? Whole search as we make our way around. We keep constant contact by voice and visual as we're searching the banks and the creeks, right? But here's Candace, Burger King, carrying on with, she didn't want to be tracked, she didn't want blah, blah, blah. The fuck? You two are stupid. Fucking stupid. You're idiots. And that's what she's still worried about. She's worried about something else. And Michelle makes some really good points in that video. That's all I'm saying. And the one I've been trying to make. But here's the thing. Michelle also brings up the fact that several weeks ago, Candace tried to have me change my fucking story. At the behest of what I'm guessing, because Benny was brought up in that phone call. Right, Benny? Where were you that night? having her record, having her do something. Just like you had Squirrel weeks before when I caught her fucking ass too. Digging for you before she stole the videos, put them out as a weapon for TCC and others that you were trying to discredit me with then, that you were trying to fucking keep the money flow going. Because here's what I know, and what I've said from the beginning of that fucking fundraiser, all of you, TCC, Keys, Billboard, Brad with Sean, all of you had contacted in the background on your private cell phones. All of you would forget during key moments, no pun or cliche intended there, no slip that in. You'd forget that when I was on one thing, here are the two others on another talking in the background, and then here you are trying to play this game with me, but y'all can't keep it straight because it's such chaos. This game you're trying to play during that fucking ass fundraiser. I see you motherfuckers. So you see, this is why I've been so hard on that fundraiser. I want to know how the fuck it leads back to a guy who conveniently started a fucking YouTube channel doing shit he possibly, no way possible, could have been doing prior to Summer's disappearance, named after her favorite character. And for all those months, conned, lied, blah, blah, until recently when y'all could dump him for something as easy as billboards that looked like a lone chase crime, right? No, it was an easy way to dump the face. The fall guy that was the easiest. I see. And then you have Chase over here threatening to shoot Don with a 9mm on live. And then days later, he's on the fucking hill eating dinner with everybody. Fucking weird, man. But all of you have contact with that hill long before the rest of the world realizes it. Some still don't. I know you and old Shut Up have been involved for eons, since not very long after Summer vanished. That's how I knew this fuck to stay away from you before I ever knew what fucking YouTube was. Because I heard what you were doing to Candace and Dawn in person. I saw it because I lived there, Keys. Fucking dipshit. And you could do that whole, it's like you're doing with MGL during the well dry now bullshit, bro. Ain't nothing but to put on too. Like, you're all against fundraising, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit, dude. Bullshit. Give me a fucking break. You're all about Summer. Bullshit. Number 2. You're no dams. Anyway. So, it disturbs the shit out of me that last night she wants to talk about this fucking scream. Now, I really don't know what kind of, well, I don't know. I know I was told pieces and parts by some elite, and things along the way. And Candace themselves as to what, they said or did or whatever, but, you can take that with a grain of salt and piss on it and float it down the river because it's about worth as much. But, and I mean, whatever they say, they said. Law enforcement, I don't know, take that as you will too, because they have their own shit to do. Anyway. It's disturbing to me that now she's trying to back off the screen, trying to say that's. But Michelle, anyway, Michelle was like, about the shit with Candace trying to get me to change my story. I know that it was BK, one of them responsible for it, just like I do the actual call that went into the feds in Hawkins County that week that Candace was digging for on a call, because nobody's talking to him. Nobody called him back and was like, yeah, we went and tormented your fucking targets this week for YouTube, man. And the thing is, she, and Dawn, they knew exactly what Andy had said to my daughter. They had talked to my daughter themselves. They twisted that and made it into shit. It wasn't on purpose to make that call to target us. She played stupid about no one ever lived here. She knows exactly where I'm at. And did then. She played stupid about so many basic ass things like the truck. Man, she knew about that truck, like I said in a few videos ago. And forever, quite frankly. Because I mentioned that months ago, but they're not paying attention here. But she plays stupid about it suddenly on that call where she's trying to get me to change my story, and she makes the wink nod at money and needing support, and I'm like, I get it. And Dr. Phil's getting ready to come out, and then here comes the hoax with Summer's body being on 125, and then they get quiet until I make mention on one of my lives about the bullshit drug traffic that was laughable at best. It was laughable then. We all had a good laugh about it, including law enforcement in the hollows when, the slow blink was fucking real, and it was community-wide, as we were all asked. It was like, and a laugh because of what it was, how it was. And then here you have, Don losing his shit and dropping the N-bomb and everything else. And then things kind of go quiet. And now who are they trying to play with? Who are they coming back out of the box for? Ask yourself that question. Is it for other YouTubers like Michelle or psychologists or criminologists or anything? No. Where are they trying to head now? They're friends with Keys, right? Keys is helping them. He hates fundraisers. MGL and him talking shit about Dawn and him. But then here goes, well, you all go drain the well dry. It's not fair, it's not fair. We're going to do all the work and you all make all the money. Well, the switch of the rooms happened. Here enters the new bad guy. Here enters Keys' arch nemesis too. In this crime drama family. And then who starts making appearances and phone calls? And to which YouTuber? Well, it's Molly Go Drain the Well Dry, of course, with massive viewership. Interesting, isn't it, Keys? Interesting. Candace and Dawn start making appearances and phone calls for what can bring them the next big money on those channels. Oh, and yeah, you're doing the courtesy. Oh, I hate fundraisers. Oh, I hate money. But I knew you'd be working with the last con-ass fundraiser, huh, buddy? And you fake here's a stick in the driveway talking shit to a female. Oh, it was a fucking show for starters. Cause hell, you go harder on terrorizing the fuck at, like, what the fuck, man? Average people involved in the case. You go harder on me and my children on a daily, dude, than you actually go on MGL. Is it MGL's name in your fucking title every night? Is it her old, like, seriously? What's up with that, bro? Like, shut the fuck up and play your role. You suck at that too. But anyway, what you have here, and where I'm getting at, is, my videos are a lot to keep up with for those who can't, spend 4 hours trying to piece and part together Jody Sue. So I'm usually, and with the amount of trolls and these assholes, I'll take 6 hours to insert just a little piece. I make them work for it. Not gonna lie. So anyway, the thing is, what I know now, and I knew something was funky as fuck with this shit when it went down. And thank God I reported it to law enforcement then, took pictures that I know for a fact have the data in them, so dare anybody to question me on when, where they were taken. And it wasn't hard. Hell, it doesn't take super genius. Here she is before summer's vigil and all that, making a point to go buy a fucking meth bubble at a store that's stopped at on the day Summer goes missing too, by the way. Interesting, huh? Same store. In case anybody out there in the world fun facting it. That same discount tobacco. Before Summer goes missing. Is the same one she bought the meth bubble at. Before Summer's vigil, not long after. That then ends up busted at the end of my driveway. Dawn shows up with the boys in the white S10 with wood in the back. Not the wood that's out there in the pile now, because that was another gentleman that unloaded it. I heard and watched that too, because, noise. Anyway, but this day, he sees what Andy and I are looking at, and he just dead stops in the driveway. And he runs over like his ass is on fire, which I find weird. And he's all babbling and being like, he was acting nervous. He was acting weird and out of character, but fuck, he's probably tweaked. I don't fucking know. Because it was like he had a whole lot to say, but nothing to say. He was there. It's like he was trying to distract us from that bubble. But at the time, and while he was standing there, we didn't know what it is, because seconds before that, I picked up 3 or 4 major pieces, and they had burnt on the bottom. But, Andy was like, he smacked my hand, and they fell back down. He was like, oh my God, it's fucking meth pipe, right? And so we went back down the roadway at the end of our driveway. Now, these super geniuses hadn't realized in the middle of the night, days and days and days before, I put up cameras. On nights I knew that Dawn and them were outside, I put them up on purpose in the night without light. Quietly as I could possibly fucking do so. For very good reason. So they wouldn't know. And then I told law enforcement, all of them, that any time, day or night, that they wanted to stop, take those SD cards, anything else, if they needed direct line of sight, they were more than welcome to stop, take whatever the fuck they wanted off those cameras. But here's the fucked up part. We make a slip of the tongue that day. Maybe it was Andy, could have been me, I don't recall, but I do remember the moment and thinking, fuck. Right in front of Dawn at those key moments. And then when we mentioned that that's a meth bubble right there, Dawn's like, oh God, you're kidding. And it was so fake. So fake. But the slip of the tongue happens about the cameras. And, Then all of a sudden Dawn's like, I mean, literally, like this. Where are they? Oh, well, I don't see them. Y'all did a good job. And even the boys were like, hey, where are they? Where are they? And it was like, what the fuck? And it was so... Me and Andy and I looked at each other and we were like, alright, what the fuck? And that's Andy, who wasn't much invested in any of this shit. Trust me. Not so far as giving a shit, but just enough to, like, use to beat me or terrorize me or my daughter or whatever else with. Tell the new supply was crazy. You know, the usual bullshit. But anyway, we didn't say. We wouldn't say, like, oh man, that's pretty, you know, I think we did. We did a good job. And it was like they were getting kind of, no, where are they? More pointed with the, you know, we changed the subject where they couldn't go back to it. And we just kind of part ways. And I was waiting on getting an SD card reader because, well, somebody watching currently knows why, because her and I discussed it. We wanted to make sure that I got an SD card reader so I didn't corrupt the data in the pictures. And that in itself lends to prove, like, you know, and I told her when they got, here's where it's at. Is that night I'm sitting out on the steps, I'm walking the banks, I'm in the dark, and I hear the footsteps coming down their driveway in the gravel. Slow, pointed, and then I hear the click of the door on the one trail cam that would have picked up who and what dropped that fucking bubble. Then the next morning I go down right after Andy leaves work. And a whole week's worth of shit's gone. The last thing it gets is Andy going to work. I think some leaf activity before that. I've still got it saved. What was left. That way it'd show how fucking weird. And that SD card I left entirely alone because I know that SD card had to take on some data from whatever device they used to put it into to erase it. See, I'm not a dumb bitch. So, you know, that in itself at some point could be used to connect back to whatever fucking device was used to erase that goddamn data that night. So, that SD card that morning when I got it out and everything had been erased off of it. Holds whatever device would be my guess that connected to it to erase that fucking data in the middle of the night. And then I hear the shoes, I hear the feet go back up the driveway. I hear one, maybe two dogs do that owner boof. Just the slightest. Midway up. So, I know who erased my shit. Anyway, lately with shit that's been coming to me, with shit I know to be true of them from day one, which is they're absolutely trying to set up other motherfuckers that I know in my heart are less guilty than they would have ever been, right? That would have had, for me, like 99.9% did not fucking do or have anything to do with this. They've been trying to set up. Whereas with them, I'm like, Candace, at first for me, it was like 89%. Dawn, I couldn't say. I've always thought there's a possibility there that, you know, I don't know. But anyway, stuff that's been coming back to me recently, pieces and parts I'm picking up as because I have to do the fundraising shit and the other, right? And that's a lot, so I take separate turns, but I also have to pay attention for both at the same time. However, I'm the only one that can go through and look for what I need, because it's my brain that days in and all the things for the months and years prior, so I have to do that kind of alone, in a way. So the things that have been coming back to me, the things they're doing now, the targeting, the hey, change your story. Watching what they're doing now. And Michelle says, man, why are they trying to quietly all of a sudden, like, put the doubt and the questions on Jody, Sue, and Andy? Well, let me tell you why. Because something's been rotten in Denmark far longer than I thought. Which, I'll tell you, before I moved from there, I was watching Candace have cell phones in her pockets, and we'd be talking for a little while at the bottom of the driveways, whatever, as I was moving, packing, doing whatever. Freaked the fuck out by the bullshit Andy was pulling, and the favors, you know, and all that shit. I'm like, dude, that motherfucker is, I know he's up to something. I don't know what the hell's happening. You know, law enforcement down here on this side, there's something fucking up, man. I wouldn't say law enforcement as a whole, but a particular person. And, anyway, so I'm like, and I know what kind of shenanigans him and his parents get up to. So I was flipping the fuck out. Anyway, but she would have cell phones in her pocket. And I could already tell her palms were sweaty, she was acting weird. And then like 30 minutes into a conversation, all of a sudden a voice speaks up from her crotch. And you're like, girl, the fuck are you up to? And I don't think those people realize they were on speaker. I'm like, whatever. Even then, I noted it. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Don't care what YouTuber's listening. Don't care who she has recording. Because even then, what I knew in person in front of her face, there's nothing I didn't say to law enforcement. There's nothing I wouldn't have said to somebody had they asked. There's nothing I was saying that was a fucking lie. And so, I had nothing to worry about, even with her doing whatever the fuck it was in her little crotch pockets. Didn't care. Don't care now. And see, that's what happens when you're not a motherfucking liar. So, anyway, and I don't think they'll ever get that. Like, if you don't lie about shit, you ain't got nothing to fucking hide. You ain't got a story to keep up with. You ain't got one that's ever fucking changing. You might have one that, obvious pieces are being filled into that you left out in such an obvious way in your first 16 that it can be showed that what's being put in is the fill-in. As the public becomes aware of those details and you feel more comfortable sharing them. And you kind of get the fill-in from things dropped by law enforcement and others, like, you know. But my statement holds all of these things. So, whatever. Anyway. The thing is that I definitely now feel like they were trying to do to us very early on what we saw them doing to others. And man, why would you toss a fucking meth bubble? Used once, if that, judging by the coloration on the bottom. At the bottom of my driveway. And be hella concerned about it. We found it, you know, this and there.